Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back. It's Jordan here. Today we're going to continue working on the Lego Zoo. Specifically, we're going to be working on the monkey habitat. So we have our aquarium and the bird aviary, which is built into the rock edge. Pandas right over here. Lions, crocodiles and flamingos, elephants and giraffes and ostriches. And I think the monkeys are going to go right back here. Originally, I was going to put panthers back there because it's beside the other big cats. However, the monkey exhibit is going to be pretty tall. So I think that spot is going to work the best for monkeys because it's at the back there. If I were to put monkeys right here and have this big tall exhibit, it would sort of block the other one, so it wouldn't really make sense. And same with this position over here. I sort of wanted to keep the cats together, but I just think it's going to be better to put the monkeys back there. In order to start working on the monkey display, I've got to extract two large Mills plates. This one here that has the aquarium and half of the bird aviary, and then this one here that has the pandas, this raised walkway, and also the plate where we're going to put the monkeys. Okay, I've safely extracted both plates there with minimal damage. It is rather hard to move this plate here because it's huge, two 48 by 48 base plates. But the zoo is sort of a strange dimension over there, and the only way that I can make it work is if it is on 48 by 48 base plates. And unfortunately, the aquarium spans onto both plates, so it sort of ties them together. I guess in hindsight, I probably would have rather made it smaller base plates somehow. Either way, there's a will, there's a way, and I've been able to move the zoo around safely thus far. So monkeys are going to get a pretty big spot. Essentially this whole area here, and then probably to the edge of this cave entrance. So I'm thinking this entire square right here. I want to do a really nice display for the monkeys. So having that large space to work with is definitely pretty nice. So the first things that I decided to do was carve out just a little bit of the Mills plate there, because that's going to be some water in the enclosure for the monkeys. And then I built this glass viewing area right here. You can see I've framed those glass panels with some of the reddish brown cylinders and reddish brown modified bricks there. And then I also put this angled roof on the top, just using some connector elements. I topped this off with tiles, and then I just put some tiles on that angled roof as well. I think that's pretty cool, and I like the brown vibe. It's going to match the vibe of the monkey exhibit and the wall back here as well. Now I've got to sort of figure out how I'm going to build all the different stuff in the monkey enclosure. I don't really know what to do. I think I'm going to do some sort of rock base and then have like the brown like bars and everything that the monkeys would be swinging around on everywhere. Now I'm going to take some inspiration from the animal kingdom, I think. What they have is like this rock in the middle, and then they have all the different brown stuff on top that I was just talking about. And then they have like these towers on the exterior of the, or at different points in the enclosure. And these towers connect, and the monkeys can go up on top of the tower and come back down, and they have like ropes connecting to them. I mean, obviously it's not going to be exactly the same as the animal kingdoms, but it's sort of the vibe that I'm going to go for. Wow, I just said vibe 3 times. Make it 4, I guess. Now, one thing I'm having a hard time visualizing is if I put this big tower here, how am I going to stop the monkeys from just leaving? I don't know. I think I'm just going to have to use my imagination, knowing that this is Lego, and maybe it's not going to be as enclosed as it should be in real life. Although when you go to the animal kingdom, it's actually pretty wide open. They just have water around the base of it. There's not like any huge tall fences. It's not all blocked off. So I don't know how they keep the monkeys in there. There's probably some sort of Disney magic that's happening behind the scenes that I don't know about, but I'm going to try and use that same magic here in the zoo in the Lego City. So yeah, I think the next thing I got to figure out is add some greenery, maybe to this angled roof here, and start building my center rock. And also I'm going to have to blend in this water and add a bunch of detail, just like all of the water throughout the zoo. I constructed the central rock using some of those dark tan rock panels and then a bunch of slopes. We're still going to add more detail to that here as we move forward. I also built this tower right here. Wow, I feel like building a castle now. So the base of it is square, and I used masonry bricks some snot bricks, and just some plain bricks as well. And then it gets circular and moves up to the top of the tower. Now you can see why I want to build some castles. That would be so neat. I've got to build that Helm's Deep one day. That would be so cool. Building a castle would be awesome. Now I built this just using some of the parts from my inventory. I was trying to build it using all masonry bricks and also the 1x1 cylinders, because you can arch the bricks or sort of curve them, and I just didn't have enough, and it just really wasn't working in the space that I had. So this is what I came up with. Once again, it's got a square base, and then I used some of those large, I believe they're macaroni bricks, I believe that's what you call them, to create a circular or cylinder leading up to the top tower where the monkeys will be able to hang out. And the top of it is curved, and I've topped it with some tiles there, and also this dish element just to add something different rather than having all the exposed studs. I think that looks pretty cool, and the monkeys are going to be able to like swing up there and hang out up there, hopefully not go over here. Now I was considering making another one and putting it there symmetrical to that one, like making it the same. I don't know though. I might just make this like tree area. Put this all trees and different jungle gyms over here rather than having two towers. I don't know if there's enough space to have two towers. I decided to go with just a smaller pedestal there. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do in that corner. I also started building one of our jungle gyms here. I used the brown cylinders, some tan snot bricks because I don't have them in brown, and then the cylinders are actually thread onto antennas and attached. You can see some of the joints there. So I think that's how I'm going to create the jungle gym. I'm probably going to try and get some swinging ropes and maybe use some flex tubing in there as well, just to create something a little bit different because I don't want to make it all the same. Starting to add a bit more detail here, just with some green plate, brown plate, slopes, and starting to do the water as well. I just realized that this window over here has a pretty bad view. I might just make that a solid wall because you're looking into the exhibit at a brick wall. Maybe that's not the best place for that giant tower, but I think if I put it over here, it won't make as much sense, so I think it is the best spot for it. But yeah, looking at a brick wall, I don't know. Maybe I need to hollow out the center of the tower and put a little habitat in there. I don't know. I think I want to leave it how it is, but that doesn't really make sense. I guess if they get the right angle, they can look through there and see stuff. I don't know. I don't think it's harming anyone being a window. And I think it makes sense with the design, just not really with the tower there. But yeah, the detail work is taking a little bit of time here just because it's really part intensive. And the next thing I'm getting ready to do is add water detail with all the trans blue elements like this here. But I've got to finish off my slope work first. I decided to make this over here just a little home for the monkeys. Somewhere they can hide out. I think that makes sense. And then above that, I added a bunch of palm leaves and also some cylinders so they can't go up top there. It's blocked off. Started adding some of my water detail down here with all sorts of bamboo, and I've got to continue it onto this plate right over here. So we had castle. I wanted to add a little bit of pirate. Look at that. There we go. That's from a classic Lego set. Also back here I added this really neat tree. The leaves are sort of sparse, but I can't really go past the back wall. So limited room to create this tree, but it's got a little perch on the top there where a monkey can sit. I decided to improve the jungle gym with some cross beams. Oh, I wish I had some brown snot bricks. In this case, a headlight brick, because that antenna just runs through it and it acts as a support. And those cables coming off the cross beams are a nice touch as well. And they're just attached to some small little trees. You can see one on the base there, and then one on top of the tan rock. It's looking really good. Maybe my jungle gym should have a mixture of cylinder colors. Maybe it shouldn't all be brown. Maybe it should be tan, dark tan, and brown, and then it would match up with those snot bricks. I don't know. What do you think? Should it be all brown? I don't really mind the look of all brown, actually. I think it's pretty authentic and looks pretty neat. I guess, technically speaking, at zoos, they would be a combination of the colors, right? Like tan, dark tan, brown. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with it so far, though. I've got to add some more details, though. I've got to unleash the leaves. Got to add leaves to all of the limb elements to all the trees. I forgot about that. I've been doing that in the other exhibits, and eventually I want to do that all throughout the city, but I forgot to do it here, so I've got to do that. Also, I think the ground needs a little bit more detail as well, just because there's a lot of open studs. But yeah, it's coming along great. Also, what else do we have to add? Well, of course, monkeys. There we go, a little bit more detail. You can see where it splits there, so I could reach in there and add all the leaf elements. Got some vines creeping up the tower there as well on either side. I capped off those snot bricks with circular 1x1 brown tiles. I added some more rock detail too, just with some cheese wedges. Oof, it's looking pretty good. I'm trying to think of what I should add up here in the tower with the monkeys. I don't know, but I think I'm gonna add the monkeys now. Now, I'm warning you right now, my monkeys include gorillas. I know. Or sorry, chimpanzees. Chimpanzees? Yeah, whatever. They include chimps, so just be warned. And also a sloth. I am aware. It does not make sense, but it makes sense in my Lego zoo. So I'm pretty happy with that. You know, we've got some monkeys everywhere. They're up on the perch there. There's a chimp in the perch over here. A monkey climbing up top there. They're just hanging out there. There's a sloth hanging out there on the rubber cable as well. Some chimps on top of the rock there and one hanging out. It's pretty neat. It's too bad that the little hand elements can't grab onto the poles. You can see, or onto the cylinders rather, you see that I actually modified some of them. I just removed some of the cylinders so that it exposes the antenna, and then they're able to grab onto that. So I'm really happy with everything here. I'm actually not too happy with my angled roof though. It honestly doesn't look that good, so I'm going to improve that further. You guys know me, right? Yeah, I'm going to have to do some desk maintenance here. Woof, as always. But I think this is a nice improvement. It's nothing crazy. I just added some alternating 1x4 tiles there, and they actually come a little bit off the roof. And then I just used some studs between those tiles there to mount those dark green leaves, and I think it looks a lot better. Now, as for the surrounding area, that being the cave entrance, the polar bear exhibit, this area here, the viewing of the penguins, there's a little space back here. I'm going to add some sort of concession stand, I think. I think that makes sense, or maybe a souvenir shop back there, just a little stand of some sort. And then eventually I'm going to get this all tiled off like this here. But I want to expand my polar bear exhibit. This is much too small. It needs to maybe come out to the end of this plate here. So I need to make it much larger. I'm going to save that for another day. I'm really excited about placing this in the zoo to see how it looks. However, I do want to top this off. I don't know. I don't like those exposed studs there. So let's do that before we move it. Oh yeah, all the little small things make it look better. You're probably wondering why I used the dark gray jumpers here. That's because I didn't have light gray ones, and I actually think I like it. So I moved the big entrance plate out of the way, so the aquarium is going to be easier to slide into spot there. So we've got half our monkey exhibit here in the zoo. So I want to be honest about everything, because I may as well be. At this point, it's pretty difficult to move the zoo because you have a lot of moving components, such as the aviary. There's this tree which sort of spreads onto two plates. So when the Mills plates are sandwiched together, you can't have, for example, tree elements spanning onto the next plate because the plate is sliding. And for example, I had a snot brick that just had the studs coming off the edge of it, and that was on the side of the tower, but I wasn't able to slide the monkey exhibit in because of that snot brick, which had some leaves on it. So now I've got to remove that snot brick. So I'm gonna have to make some modifications to some of the exhibits in the zoo just to make sure that they're easy to move, because you can't have anything crossover plates, like no parts at all. Because if there's a tree, for example, this perch was on that element right there, and the perch was offset to the left side, but therefore it crossed plate sort of lines, so now I'm unable to remove it without this falling off. I mean, before I could move it because you could play a game of Tetris and sort of get everything out, but now as we build more and more and more, everything has to be able to be lifted out on its own because you're unable to play that game of Tetris. So yeah, I'm learning a little bit here. Eventually, when this is all built, there's going to be pretty much no moving it. I already know that. It's pretty much going to be locked in place. And if I do want to move it, then certain components like trees or limb elements or little pieces like this that go between plate and plate have to be removed, or handrails. So there's going to be a little bit of deconstruction that has to happen in order to move it. So I'm going to have to pretty much eventually move this zoo over to my desk, finish it, place it, and sort of be happy with it, and then be able to work on it from here. That's what I could do, is I could bring a little table, I could stick it behind me here, have the table, and have all my parts and everything on there, and maybe have a helper here helping me sending parts over so that I can actually stand here and build it. At least like the tables are tall enough that I'm not going to break my back doing it that way, but I can already foresee that I'm going to have to start doing it that way pretty quickly here. But yeah, I'm going to try and get this all reassembled here so we can take a look at the final product with the monkey exhibit or monkey habitat. Oh, I just ran into another problem. So this platform right here comes off by one stud. So that's right over the fence, the first platform there. The roof comes off yet another stud. So it actually does not fit in the position that I'm trying to put it. I didn't realize that when I was building it at my desk there. So I have a solution. The entire thing, that being the tower, has to slide forward one stud. Oh, I didn't realize that. It wouldn't be that hard to shift forward one stud. Obviously, a lot of things have to get peeled off and pulled away and deconstructed and then reconstructed. Now, what I was saying earlier, I mean, all the stuff has to be put back together. It's not taking me that long to put back together. I'm a little bit disappointed in this because I've been building this pretty much all day, and now I've got it placed, so now I've got to haul it back to my desk, that being the entire aquarium plate. I guess I could try and just shift it forward right here, or I could reduce the size of this roof, but I sort of dig the look of this thing, this castle tower. I like the castle tower look. So I sort of want to keep it. I think the solution is just to pull all those bricks one stud forward. I think another thing that makes this a little bit more challenging for me is the fact that I can only access this portion of the city from right here. That's it. So everything has to be done from this perspective. Whereas if I had a bigger space, which eventually one day I want, I would have the city centered in the room so I can walk around it, and we'd have the holes in the middle, because that ultimately would just make it so much easier, because then I could extract these things from the backside or from where I'm standing right now, and just the accessibility would be night and day. It's sort of like how it used to be, but I don't know, the old city layout had like a modular table in the middle that had to be removed, so it really wasn't exactly what I want, but it would be nice if I could walk around the city 360, that's for sure. But obviously I can't do that in this Lego room, because if I made the city that way, it would be significantly smaller. I've got some good news, everybody. I found some more chimps. Look at that. We got the three amigos up there scratching their head together. But yeah, it's finally placed here. It definitely took me a lot longer than I originally anticipated, because things just sort of broke on me. I was having one of those incidents where you fix something and two things fall apart, and then you fix something and two more things fall apart. It's like, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever. And at the end of the day, when you're done building, it's like, oh, this is the last thing I want to happen right now. But I got it all figured out, and I think it looks really good. I'm really happy with the outcome of the monkey exhibit. It's awesome. I think moving forward, I'm going to have to make some changes to the zoo just so it's easier to place the stuff here once I'm done building it. For example, the aviary, it just, all those like limb elements were just falling off. That tree was falling over because, once again, it spread onto two base plates. Like, look at all the stuff that was broken off, and I just can't be bothered to fix it right now because I'm at the end of my day. I mean, it still looks good. Just goes to show you how much stuff was in there. Yeah, so I got to try and just work on that a little bit, just refit some of these plates just so that they're a little bit more modular style. The problem is it's a perfect fit, right? So extracting these plates is rather difficult. Like I said earlier, not even one stud from a snot brick can go over, because how are you supposed to get it out? You can't. Yeah, it's interesting. I wish I could walk around the city 360. It would be night and day. It would be Awesome. Then you could just slide this out from the back or lift it up from the back, whatever it is, right? So now that we got the monkeys done, what should I work on next? I don't know. Maybe just the surrounding area. Maybe get the like a food cart put in back there, and then expand this polar bear exhibit. And I'm gonna do it all right here. I'm just gonna bring a little table in, break this stuff down, build it. Whoops, don't do that. And then like for the food stand, I'll build it at my desk, like take a measurement, and then I'll pop it in there. And then I'll be able to tile all this stuff off from standing right here. It'll hurt my back for sure, but I do not want to move this thing around very much anymore. Like it's getting to that point. I'll be able to extract this plate up here. Like this is easy enough. There's not a whole lot of stuff attached to that right now. So whatever details I put in here, I'll be able to build it from my desk. But the bear exhibit, honestly, I'll probably just build it right here, because hauling this out, oh no, the bear exhibit I might be able to get away with, but it's on this plate, a little bit of this plate, so I can just build that here. But I could probably haul this to my desk, no problem. And then this I can haul to my plate as well. Or I mean, haul this to my plate. I'm not going to eat the bears. I'm not going to eat the Lego, but haul this to my desk as well. But yeah, we got bears, and then we got that cat, the panther, probably going to go somewhere over here, and then the surrounding area, trees and grass. I got to order more green plates, food vendors, places to eat, stuff like that, and also all nicely tiled off. But yeah, there is the monkey exhibit done, everybody. I am so happy with it. Yes, it looks really good. Yeah, I love it. The zoo is coming along nicely. Some challenges here at the end of the video, but I look forward to fixing it up so that doesn't happen again, because I didn't record it, but it was, oh my gosh, it was sort of frustrating. I repaired the tree in here like probably 15 times, and every time I go to put it in there, it would just fall down. So I got to rebuild that tree with some stronger support in the inside using flex tubing or bigger bars or something like that. Everybody, thank you so much for coming on by. I hope you enjoyed this zoo update. Make sure you stay tuned for some more great stuff, and have yourselves a great day. Farewell.